Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Oh, the whole crew, live and online. Happy Thursday, November 2nd, y'all. If you're watching this in the future, happy whatever day that is. Good to see you here. Nice. Just give everyone a second to join. Bring this
Welcome.
awesome music down. Welcome.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna dream of that music. It's very
Yeah, you will. That's pretty sure that's a Splice original. So we got a few of those. What's up, guys? I am Brad Dollar from Songfinch. So good to see all of you. I am joined today by some amazing people who are also from Songfinch, who you may or may not have talked to before. We have the one and only Greg, the one and only Mel, and the one and only Molly. We're going to hear lots and lots from them today on all kinds of different topics. Elephant in the room, Jake is still with us, but he's out there working hard in the wild, securing partnerships for us and trying to bring some more opportunities on a larger kind of brand level to the company. So he's out there working with you. Still hit him up anytime, but he is not with us today. So just don't want to cause any alarm there. Jake's still with us. And so today we are digging into a whole bunch of different stuff. It's been a while since we've touched base on one of these. A lot has happened this year. A lot of moving and shaking. Lots of ups and downs, mostly ups, but some rough patches and whatnot. But also a lot of like moving towards growth and efficiency and working smarter, not harder. Working towards creating more of a landscape that will sustain beyond just 2023, but far into the future for not just Songfinch, but for y'all as artists, musicians, and creators. So we're going to talk about a lot of that today. Policy updates, things we've changed, things that are about to change, nothing too scary, mostly good news and a lot of just really excellent updates to bring you in on. So without further ado, we're just going to kick it right off. If you haven't met these wonderful people before, it's a good time to do so. So let's do a little round. Greg, will you please introduce yourself and tell us your history here at Songfinch?
Sure. I'm Greg, Director of Artist Services here at Songfinch. I've almost been with the company for about 3 years now. I think it was like an 8 or 10 person team when I hopped on, and it has just exploded in many positive and amazing, cool ways over the course of the last 3 years. And my personal history is I started as a music supervisor and then did senior supervision and then was also the head of artist management at one point, and then just kind of zoomed out and took a bigger scope in like how we're approaching helping the artist community, making sure that this artist manager transition that happened earlier in the year was executed the right way, and just kind of thinking of overarching projects and goals that are going to push like Songfinch forward, artists forward, and the team forward as well. So yeah, a lot of my day-to-day is just working on projects with the team, and then also working with the new artist innovation team, which I will talk about them a little bit later. But lots of cool stuff going on. What about you, Mel?
What's up, guys? I'm sure I have spoken to you guys some way or another, whether it's email or an actual phone call, but I've actually been here since 2021. As you can see in the title, I'm the head of artist management now. Humbly taking that position and loving it. I started off in the customer service team, which I will always be at heart. Love the customers. And then I made my way over to the music supervision team. From there, took a leadership role there. Stepped back a little bit to be an artist manager, because then I had a baby, which is the biggest change, which is great. And then came back.
It's a cute kid too. It's a cute kid.
I love her. And I came back ready to rumble. Nothing was stopping me. And I so graciously took on this role. And now, thankfully, I have a roster. So I am very happy with that. And currently, I'm working on bringing on a lot of Spanish artists, since we recently launched that as well. Happy to be here. So take it away, Molly.
Yay, Mel. Yes, go mama. You guys, Nova was the cutest little babe for Halloween. Okay, sorry. I'm Molly. I've been with the company for a little bit over a year, and I'm a musician myself. That's how I got connected with everyone here. I actually met Rob like 7 years ago doing a singing competition, and he was a judge. Super random. And then I got brought on as a music supervisor, and then moved into artist development, and now I'm in artist management. And it's by far my favorite iteration of Songfinch. I think that this is exactly what we needed to connect with our artist community most efficiently. So super pumped.
Amazing. Yeah, y'all are amazing. This is a small chunk of still a pretty small but bigger team that is like working around the clock for y'all as artists, for the customers, whatnot. But this is who's leading us into the fray. Taking us to this next evolution that we're going through. So I'm very grateful to have all of you here at the helm taking us there. So yeah, you want to just dive right into it?
Yeah, I think it'd be great to just kind of go over the multitude of different things that we talk about in artist management. I don't think we've ever had like a very fully fleshed out breakdown of everything. So getting into it, I think maybe just talking about something that's been super relevant this year, the late submission policy and kind of revisions and everything like that. So we can kind of talk about, what about the revision policy?
Let's start there. We've had so much change in terms of policies and expectations this year for our artist community. So I think this is so important that we just refresh, get down back to the basics, and strip everything down for you guys. So yeah, we implemented a new revision policy, the worry-free revision policy, which is a big change. It's a big expectation shift, but it's been a really positive thing for our customer base, which I'm thrilled about. And I think that's what I want to lead with first and foremost. Is like that was the intention is not to shift into more work and more expectations, but it's to be able to guarantee something wonderful that our customer is going to love and that you as an artist can be proud of being out there in the world and standing behind your work. So that's our main goal here. And Brad, do you want to talk a little bit about the positives that has come from this so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think the overwhelming like positive to take from it is even when you get revisions, and I know it's like there are lower orders right now, but they're a tiny percentage of the overall orders that come in. Most of you guys have fixed rates that are like under 5%. Like that means that out of all the songs you do, 5% or less are even hitting revisions. The overall for the company is around 20%. So about 20% of orders see some revision, but some of those are like mispronunciations of names, and sometimes like typos count for that too. So the number's a little skewed in your favor in the sense that revisions are actually probably a little bit lower than that. We did switch to a pay what you want model. Previously, in my opinion, we undervalued revisions. A lot of them were like $10, $15. A lot of those are now, because pay what you want, getting paid $25, $75. Artists are getting like $500 tips. It's not like buzzwords. Like this is actually happening, and for that to happen in the economy we're in and with the lower order volume, it gives us hope for kind of where things are going. The other part is like to put in like perspective is that we always had a worry free, right? Like you guys care about your songs. You have always done what you can for the customer to make sure that it's satisfied. Like, do you really want someone to be like, man, I got a song from Brad Dollar and like, and you're Brad Dollar and it just is trash? Like you don't want anyone in the world thinking that. And for the customers, like this isn't a throwaway song. It's very near and dear to them. So what the worry free has done to them is like open their hearts up. It's brought more people's like perspective into like what you all go through to actually create the songs, and just overall been a positive move in the right direction. And again, like it's a small percentage of orders that it's happening to anyway. So.
I think it's also important to note that like a lot of the revisions that go through, I mean, pretty much everyone is checked by a person who's making sure that it isn't absolutely bonkers or crazy. And then we're constantly like revising the policy too. Just what works now there might be revisions or policy shifts later on that could benefit the artist a little bit more. And we're very vocal on the artist services and artist management side of things, being like, hey, we think that this customer is asking maybe for a little too much, or maybe this situation has gotten conflated with a specific revision. And so CX or customer experience and artist management is always working together to really find the best solution for all the parties involved, because ultimately the one that suffers at the end of the day is the customer, but we also want things to be reasonable for everybody involved, all the artists that are working on it.
Yeah, we know, I mean, we're musicians and artists ourselves, so we know what goes into this work. So it's not lost on us. And if you have a concern or a question, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, because we really are here to support and make it a good situation for everyone involved.
Yeah, artists managers are savages when it comes to wanting to get you guys paid. So whenever we see revisions and we're like, my artist deserves more than this, we're definitely gonna vouch for you, because like Molly said, we definitely know how much work goes into that, and it has to be reasonable.
Yeah, and we're always trying to figure out what works the best for timelines too. We know that like somebody asking to do a revision like 2 months or 3 months later, like those are obviously specialty situations that we consider, and we know that people have sometimes issues like managing their data or their files, or sometimes something just goes, you've worked on a new project and it disappears. And while we encourage you to keep all your files as much as possible, we understand that there are like factors that go into that, and we want to be reasonable with you guys too. So
I also just want to give a huge shout out to our CX department, our customer success and experience department, because I mean, those guys are also doing the hard work of the communication and facilitation of that, and editing these requests and checking them with us and coordinating. And they do care. We all care. I mean, I
It's a
worked.
battleground in there, y'all.
It really is. I worked this week with Jameson in our CX department on a really tricky order, and yeah, like it's a whole support system, exactly, Jessica. And it doesn't go unnoticed by the customers either, like, because going above and beyond, it really means a lot to them, because this isn't just just a card that they're buying at a store or a toy or something. It's their life story and their love and their emotions that they're sharing. So it's a little bit bigger than that. And I really appreciate the work that you guys have been putting into all of these revisions. And I mean, some of, like, they're just little line edits just to help the customer feel like they're integrating themselves into the lyrics a little bit more, it's really sweet. It's like helping them feel like they're a part of the puzzle, they're a part of the equation, and that they can be a writer too. So
Definitely. I think it's so cool internally, like as a team at Songfinch. Brad and the customer experience team do a really amazing job of posting like those customer reactions that turn around from them being extremely angry and very pissed off to, I love this song so much, it made me cry. Like we saw one this morning, and it's just so cool to see that happen in real time and be like, okay, we are actively changing people's hearts and minds in real time with this policy and pretty much everything that we're trying to do right now. So that's super cool.
Yeah. If you're ever like in doubt, you're mad at Songfinch, you're like, what am I doing here? This place sucks. Just go back to like this center point I'm about to say. If your goal here in music, forget Songfinch, is to connect your music with real people in the world who are going to cherish what you're making, fans, this is that. Especially now with the way things are set up, like customers are picking you. Customers pick Stillman. He's right here. That's why I'm bringing him up. They seek him out. They pick Stillman, and that song is for them from him. And I think that's really important to keep that in mind. That like this is a really personal experience for people, and it's bigger than just the order you're working on. It's something that really is like a deeper connection you're making for a lifetime. People are going to cherish this stuff forever. We're so little. We're so young in this. This started 2016. We really didn't kick off till 2020. It's barely the end of 2023. Think about how much we cherish songs from 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. And those are just rando songs on the radio. Think about the music that comes from our childhood, our youth, our family. You're making that music. So if you ever lose sight of what's going on, that's what we're working towards. And that's what you're also working towards as well. So you can always lean that as your tent pole for wanting to be here.
I love that, Brad. Thank you. That's wonderful. I know it's there. We have a lot of reminders of that here. We have. I wish I could share this with all of you guys in the artist community. I mean, our artist managers share our feedback and the positive feedback we get from customers, but there's a ton on the other side as well. And we just, I love seeing it. Or watch a reveal video. I mean, those tears feed you for days.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, Brad. I feel like the team, the Songfinch team, sometimes loses sight of that too. Like sometimes we're too busy and we're typing emails and like go all the time. And like Molly said, when you check out a reveal video, like I immediately start crying, and I'm like so grateful of what we do. And I think it is important to like tap into that sentiment here and there, because it's really magical what we're doing together.
100%. Yeah, I think that this is probably a good transition point to kind of talk about some more stuff, other changes that are happening internally with policy. With that, just the new late submission policy, why it's so cool, where it's coming from, and what we're shifting exactly. So
yeah, I can touch on that. So previously, it was very, for lack of a better term, we had to lay the hammer on a lot of our roster. And that was just because we had a larger roster. The song volume was higher. So we definitely wanted to reel in those songs on a timely, basis and manner. And that's because we do have, to fulfill these songs to customers. Sometimes they base their entire occasion around this. And so we just wanted to make sure that everyone was being prompt and professional and communicative. And so that's why we would say, like, hey, if you don't turn in this by this time, you're going to be on probation if you don't reach out to us. Very quickly, we realized that in addition to not having a lot of ops compared to last year, that became very sticky, and it wasn't really necessary anymore. So we definitely talked and adjusted this to be a little more friendly, but still assertive and needing to be in communication with each other. So the more, the more that you guys communicate with us, the better. You can never over communicate with us, I think. We actually really appreciate that. Even if like you're going on tour, if you're sick, whatever it may be, please just email us. So basically, we moved it to a strike system now. So if you're late on your first op and we haven't heard from you the day after it's due, we do reach out to you and ask, if you're doing okay. We understand that life happens. There's artists who unfortunately have gotten into accidents or like something has happened, and we don't want to. We don't want you to read an email in the morning and it say like, well, you're on probation now. And you're like, you got in an accident. Like, oh, Melissa's such a jerk, So we definitely touch base and are like, are you okay? I just see that you didn't submit it last night. I just want to make sure that you are on track to submitting it. And we ask you when you expect to deliver it to us. And then for documenting purposes, we do put the strike on your profile just so we can, remind you that like, hey, we have to hear from you by 4 p.m. On the day that your song is due. Hopefully you guys reach out to us and let us know that you're okay and that the song is on track to be delivered. After that, strike 2 happens. If it happens again, we do remind you again from the, like of the policy and stuff, but this time, we do take a little more action into letting you know, like, hey, this can't happen again type of thing. After 3 to 4 strikes, it does get a little bit more strict, but basically the 4th strike is when we part ways. And after 6 months, if you don't have any strikes, we do eliminate those. We don't want to punish you for having like a strike in January. We understand that life happens and that shouldn't be held against you. Literally the gist of this policy and why we revise it is because we want you guys to communicate with us. That's all we ask for, like I said. Molly, did you want to add to this at all, or Greg?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Yeah, honestly, like that's it boils down to communicate. Accountability is key. Like this is a trust system. A lot of it, especially like if you're a verified artist, that entire relationship is built on trust. And we're just people. We are just people here, and we all have lives, and I know y'all got babies and mamas and friends and cars and everything and their mother. It all happens. We're your friends. We want to help you, and we're all, moving towards the same goal. So, yeah, and it's really, it shouldn't ever have to get to that point, like to the 3rd and 4th. Like that just won't happen. I feel really confident in that. Because already, like, you guys are communicative and we're more available than we've ever been to you. So there's just no reason not to just send an extension request right on your dashboard or shoot us a little email or it's we're right here. So just
yeah, for sure. To be more specific about the strike system, like I said, the first time we do send you the warning that you have to let us know by 4 p.m. and then a link to the submission policy. The second time we do email you and let you know that if we don't receive a response from you by noon CST, we're going to be reassigning the op. So we just have to be quick with fulfillment, and that's the reason why we do it. The third time, if you're late again with no communication, we do remove the op from you at 9 a.m. as soon as the artist manager logs on. So if you don't see the op in your dashboard and you're like, what happened? That's the 3rd strike. That's what happens in 3rd strike. And like I said, 4th strike, I hope this never happens or gets to the point where we will have to part ways. But yeah, your artist manager at this point should have emailed you, but if not, it's in the newsletter, the outline policy.
I think that it's important to know that like we genuinely care. So if you do ghost or if you do disappear, like we have concerns, we're like, are they okay? Are they like in jail? Did something terrible happen? Like those are our first thoughts. And obviously like the customer is the second thought. Like, how can we make sure that they still get their song and what they paid for? Because ultimately this is a service, this is a business. And similar to you going to a gig and like agreeing with a talent buyer that you are going to do a show. You wouldn't just like no call, no show and not show up. People wouldn't take you seriously professionally if that was the case. So we kind of have the same thing. Each song is an individual contract that you're hoping to fulfill and succeed. And we know that there are sometimes road or like bumps in the road along the way when it comes to that, but we're just asking for a text, a call, an email, anything that you can do to let us know, and we'll support you. Like, we want to be on your side and be like, great, awesome, like we'll figure it out with you. And I think the second thing I wanted to mention, which leads into our next topic, is, you know, we have a smaller roster now. We have around 1,300 artists now. That's a big departure from previous times at Songfinch. I mean, we've gotten as high as 2,600 artists before. The people that are here are artists that want to make these songs, like that genuinely want to do it, are artists that do communicate, and artists that we've seen put in the extra effort and like care about what we're doing here. Not just like, oh, I want to make like $100 every couple months and like just like phone it in. Like, no, we know that the people here are actively trying as hard as possible, and that communication part of it is such a big part of it. So we appreciate you, and we want to make sure that this new policy is like lenient and trusting. We love you guys. So kind of getting into the next topic is just song expectations. So Molly, I know that you have some thoughts on this.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a really long time since we've been back to the basics. Like, oh, I've been muted. Rude. You're trying to tell me something? You don't want me to sing Christina Aguilera right now? I won't. Don't worry, you guys. I just think it's, you know, we get all this material thrown at us when you're onboarded, and things change and our expectations shift. As Greg said, we've boiled down our roster a bit. We have kept on our greatest, the best and the brightest, the sharpest in the crayon box. And that has raised our expectations. We had really high demand last year, and we brought on some really incredible folks, and that has just caused our production requirements to raise a little bit. So I just want to get back to the basics, talk about what we're looking for, what makes a great Songfinch song, so that everybody knows going into this holiday season. The main things that I really want to highlight, because I think when you're churning out songs and you've done a billion Songfinch songs or however many, like it's easy to chug and plug. I think, you know, you get your instrumental, you get your brief, you kind of figure out how you're going to place all of the parts of their story. But these are custom songs. They're supposed to be original and unique. And the best way to do that is to creatively integrate these details to make this song special for them. Anyone could list off, you know, the events and the dates of someone's anniversary and proposal date, but how are you going to weave it into a story that makes it poetic and magical and special and makes them feel like they're watching a movie while listening to a song? Like, that's why we hired you, you know, like that's why we're here. And that's why we love writing. Yeah, get in there.
Yeah, to that point, I've seen so many amazing songs where the brief has been like, I love her so much, she does X, Y, and Z, and it's the most basic, simple like sentence that you've ever heard. There's like no description, there's no detail, and I've heard just some of the artists here turn that into a full-fledged beautiful song. And I'm not saying every song needs to be like that, but I know that the talent is out there, and I know that we have a lot of tips and tricks internally as well with Help Center articles that also talk about how do you do that, like how can we focus on turning a small detail into a big detail and kind of build it up. So yeah, I think that there's a lot that artists can do and digest there.
I will say too, I got feedback from some of my artists who say, I've been trying to do it in a poetic way, but I keep getting revisions that say that they want it a little bit more verbatim and vice versa. So we can't read the customer's minds, you know, so like I would say lean on like the side of being more poetic, because making songs that are like verbatim, those are the ones that customers are like, yo, the artist took everything I submitted word for word, that is not what I wanted. So yeah, it's a balance, but I would say just lean on the side of making it creative.
Yeah, you're an artist. It's what we like to do. It's what we like to do. We like to churn these beautiful gold webs. I don't know what that was. But also, like,
Magic.
let's remember, it was magic. Thank you, Brad. I am a witch. I want everyone to remember that, like, these are real people. Like, you're writing for real people. I know it can feel a bit disconnected sometimes. Yeah, but they're real people with real lives.
Also, like, it's really important, like, for all of us to remember, like, every single artist here, producer, these are not artists, producers, or musicians you're writing songs for. There are some edge cases where you'll get like I used to play this kind of instrument and now I'm right. Like you'll get some of those sometimes, but for the most part, these are truly like a sample of your audience out in the world. As if someone from like who's browsing your Spotify playlist, you go to your Spotify artist right now, it's like, oh, someone from like Cincinnati, Ohio. That's who this customer is. That's who they are. They don't know about the things that you're super concerned about. They're way more zoomed out, like listen to it as a song. So if you're ever in doubt, you're like, is this good or not? Zoom out. Like just think about this song is not just like this thing you're writing for you, but this is like someone who doesn't really like, they're not so concerned about music. This is the deepest cut they've ever experienced in terms of like crate digging. For most of these people, like all they really know is what's shown to them on their Spotify playlist recommendations and their discovery pages and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. Like these are not Nashville publisher songwriters. This is not like an LA record label. This is not like a New York ad agency. These are not those people. This is like Brenda from Cincinnati who just wants a song for Kendrick, her husband.
With that in mind, I'm also going to mention that although that is true that we are not making music for musicians necessarily, although sometimes I love those ops when they're like, actually, my husband's a saxophonist. Yeah, it's like really sweet. But Brenda, yes. But we have raised our sound quality expectations in this past year, and that's why we had to make these cuts, right? So although we're not making music for musicians, we are still trying to increase our quality and sound more radio ready and provide more opportunity for our artists in that way. If we're putting our best foot forward, there's going to be more opportunity for you there. Yeah, anyone else want to hop in on that?
I mean, with that point of production, it also gives us the ability to know what else we can work with you on in many ways. So we have a whole sync department that does a lot of that. We'd love to, start submitting more instrumentals for catalog or maybe present you opportunities in that way. Our whole innovation department is going to focus on like new offerings. So when we hear a really quality song in core fulfillment, this main product right now, we're like, oh, we're on the ready now. We know what they can do, and then we can put them give them opportunity A, B, and C to make them even more successful, or to try to get more money, or try to present new opportunities to you. So I think that just submitting something that you're proud of and really is pushing your skill set, this is all you're getting paid to train and do something you love, and to experiment and to really try new things lyrically, production wise. I think that that's the magic of this platform. Like, you're getting paid to explore those things. So really just try to go all out if you can,
Yeah. And I think we're doing a really big review of our rosters right now, us artist managers. So you may be seeing some more dedicated feedback in the coming months. I would expect it. I would expect to see notes on your formatting, notes on your chorus writing, notes on your detail integration.
Notes also on your song examples. So
Yes.
If we need to get those switched out, or if we feel like there's a song example that is really, really good and reflects your production abilities or your lyricism, we're going to bug you in an email and be like, hey, I really think this song is really well written. Do you want to get it set up as your song example? Of course, that's all up to you, but that's all under our review as well. And feel free to, if you guys listen to your old songs and or any recent songs that you're like, wow, I really did a good job on this, feel free to email us and we can switch out those song examples for you. One thing to keep in mind though with song examples is when going through the artist recommendation engine, customers listen to those. So if they choose you because they heard a song that you set as your song example and it's really good, the customer is going to expect the same quality. So that's why it's really important to set a song example of something that you're confident delivering every time. Just to insert Spanish in here a little bit, I recently had to email an artist because she submitted an example of a really, really well production song. It sounds like other people helped her do it, but she said like, I can do it too. And I'm like, cool. She submitted her first song and unfortunately they did not match the quality. So I kind of had to tell her like, you know what, this is what customers expect when they choose you. So let's make sure that both of those qualities match. So yeah, that's all that to say about song examples. And like Greg said, like this is the perfect opportunity for you to experiment.
One thing that I definitely want to talk about a little bit more in detail that we were talking about earlier in the day, Mel, was just the use case on instrumental. So making sure that you're keeping things fresh with your instrumental. I mean, we have a 50-time use on them. And then there are special circumstances where customers will ask for like the same instrumental again. But I think it's important for you as an artist to like keep a batch of different ones and to actively, whether it's every 2 months or every 3 months, try to switch them up, try to change them out. This kind of goes back into the trust tree thing with being a verified artist. Like, we do these verified checks, or at least the artist managers do, and sometimes we'll go through like 2 pages of the same song that has been used, and you were really doing a disservice to the customer at that point. I mean, I think that one of the great things
yourself,
about
baby, and yourself.
Yeah, and yourself. I mean, you're so much more creative than that, right? Especially like when you get to like the hundreds of songs being the same. It's important to note that we do allow for, instrumental reuse, but we also want to keep that creativity alive. That's just part of producing here. And it's just something to keep in mind of. And I'm sure your artist manager will also additionally reach out should they notice that kind of thing.
This is also really important. If you don't have your song examples set on your profile and you keep reusing the same instrumental, those are the songs that are going to be cycled and you won't be able to use it. You won't be able to use it because that is what the customer is going to be hearing. That is what you can't use any instrumental that is live on your profile. Just because then that's not a unique custom song. But yeah, I really highly encourage you, when a new season comes, whip up 3 new instrumentals. It's great to have those in your back pocket. So you're not just creating each same song after another. I know it can get really old. And it can really limit your writing. So whenever I have an artist who isn't seeing the success that they want, that's my first recommendation. Is like, let's make a new song example and let's make a new instrumental. And there's usually a shift, and we see that it's almost immediate. Honestly, that's what I've seen, is like the customer immediately is like, oh.
This is a pro tip that I heard from one of our artist managers, Clancy, who's in Vermont. We love Clancy. If you have her as an artist manager, you are extremely lucky. But she actually told me that she's experimented with some of her artists when it comes to seasonal song examples. So for example, we're going into the Christmas season. If you have a Christmas song that you're super proud of and you want to set it as your first one, so that way the customer hears it and they're like, oh, I want a Christmas song. And then they hear that, they're going to be like, cool. So that's a pro tip if you guys want to do that every season for Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, whatever you want. You don't have to, but it is a nice tip.
It does. It works out. A lot of my artists did that around Mother's Day as well, and it does help.
I also think with song examples, some cool things to try are different variants of the same genre. So right now we limit artists to 2 genres, but to expand upon your sound, maybe you can do something that is like more built out production, whether that's R&B, acoustic pop, or country, and then something that is not as built out, just because it can completely tailor to a different audience and get new song orders in that capacity as well. So there's a lot of little testing things that you can do that's a lot of fun. Yeah.
I would just put a bow on it too. I would say that again, use Songfinch as like leverage for the rest of your life, right? Like, I'm not saying everyone's doing this, but if you're trying to get a publishing deal, right? Like, what do you need for that? You need to write a lot of songs. And like, not every song or every instrumental is great. And so, doing that and kind of getting ready for that, doing these Songfinch songs, like, you can be amping up your publishing catalog and getting that ready. Also, on the other side of that, if you spent all year and like myself, I built a lot of tracks, I produced a lot of tracks. I get to the end of the year, I have like only 3 or 4 of those I've actually done something with, but I might have like 40 or 50. So I'm not saying they're all great, but I know you have a lot of stuff that you've worked on through the year. Like maybe repurpose some of that stuff that maybe not this like, we want this to be high quality stuff, but like we don't expect like these to be Warner Chappell signature hits, for like some publishing deals. So the stuff that did make someone in downtown Nashville or Out of Music Row happy, like cool, like try that for one of these. So repurpose your stuff and don't feel like you're painting yourself into a corner with some of these things. Like use things from Songfinch for the rest of your life and things from the rest of your life for Songfinch as well to lighten that load, help you retain as much value for what we're paying you as possible, and just make it easier, more fun for you.
100%. Moving on to kind of next topics, unless Molly, did you have something else that you wanted to mention?
Oh, I mean, I always do. I'm known for this. I could talk for days, you guys. I do. I want to, you guys, my sweet artist community, I highly recommend just like digging in that help center. Take like 10 minutes. This is like just to cap this section off. Take 10 minutes, review our how to format a song, review our how to write a slammin' chorus, review how to set your song examples. Just reach out to us. Spoiler. Review the article on how to optimize your profile. We've got tips on writing bios. We've got tips on what your photo should look like. Oh, last one. Song genre expectations. Please review our genre expectations. They're not the same as the real world. Songfinch world is slightly askew. It's just a little bit more specific because of our customer base and what we're doing. We have to tailor it. So check those out. If you have any questions, please ask. That's all. Let's move on.
Oh, good. No, that was all super relevant. Thank you for posting that link as well. I think that going along talking about like communication is a really big one, especially as we get into the rush season, holiday season. When is the right time to contact us? When should we be contacting you? I think that we can just kind of talk about that and just talk about talking.
Yeah.
Simple things like the email for your artist manager is on your dashboard. It should be right there. If one of you want to kick it off.
Yeah. The dashboard is the easiest place to find all that. It literally says contact artist manager. It'll go directly to them. So you can ask us any questions about anything or let us know anything that comes up for you. It's literally that easy. If some of you guys have our personal phone numbers or something, that is another way too. One thing to know about communication is that the entire artist management team sees your emails. So if you were to email Mel, but I'm out of office, Molly can see it too. Molly can handle it. It doesn't matter who in the team. The point of artist management is so you can have your Songfinch bestie essentially, and your point person and your advocate and whatever, but we're all advocating for you. It's just your point person, but anybody can answer your email. And on top of that,
I just want to real quick. I just want to highlight that, like, you guys are like, what is this weird gray room they're in? Greg, Molly, and Mel are all at our headquarters in Chicago. It's awesome. If you're in Chicago, please stop by. Come check it out. And literally, like, when you guys hit us up, if you're like, I'm gonna hit up this person, like, they're sitting right next to each other. Furthermore, like Rob Lindquist, our COO and co-founder of Songfinch, he's right there on the floor with all of us too. So if you hit him up, we also know, and vice versa. So I just say that to, like, you're in a community with us and we're all paying attention and watching. And even the customer experience team is looking, the product team that works in the tech, we're all paying attention to you, and we really care about you. You definitely have priority. So don't ever think you're shouting into the ether or that no one's listening to you. There are lots of people who are listening to you and care about what you have to say.
Yeah.
We're also like sharing songs that we love. We're also like really highlighting your accomplishments all together as a crew internally as well. Once we hear something that we love, we're immediately like, go check this artist out, or, you know, sharing it in Songfinch Heat, which is like some of our, like, the songs that we hear that are absolutely bangers. We're like, how did somebody make this? And so we really like pride ourselves on being informed on the artists that we're working with. And we also know, like, when communication has gone south, or maybe that like there's a more tricky situation, like multiple people typically know about it and are trying to troubleshoot and solve it and trying to get from point A to point B. So it's just mindful to know that we're here and we typically know what's going on.
Yeah. Also, any email that you may send as an artist, you're directly linked. Your email will always go directly to your artist manager. So even if you're like, hey guys, hey team, it's always me. It's always little old me on the other side of that computer. I'm like, hey Kyle, it's just me over here.
And I really encourage all of you, aside from fulfillment stuff and anything you need to let us know regarding like touring, vacation, whatever, we encourage that. But also hit us up if you want to say hi. Like, I just shared with one of our artists, Jane from Texas. I shared a picture of what my daughter was for Halloween. I am all for talking to you guys about anything. So please, like, use us as like your confidant, but also like we're your point person here, and we're always gonna vouch for you.
Yeah, I do want to hop on what you just said, especially with the new policies that we've implemented with this revision policy. It is really important for us to know if you're not going to be available after your song delivery to complete a revision. As Brad said, like, there aren't a ton of them, but they do happen and they are within a window. So if you expect to be out of town or unavailable to complete that, and you've completed a song and you're leaving town the next day, please let us know so that we can communicate with the team and with the customer to set expectations.
Especially if it's over a week.
Yeah. We started, I'm just gonna, like, let's just tell them what we do, how we communicate this. We have this little workflow in Slack, and we communicate with our customer success team so that we can all be on the same page and say, Hadley's going on tour. I'd type in there, hey, Hadley's gone all of December and she's back this date. There you go. No revisions until then, and then we'll talk. So please reach out to like that customer or whatever. Like, so then we can coordinate and all be on the same page and help each other out. You'll never be penalized for being inactive or going on tour or doing anything like that. You'll never be penalized for that. We support it. We know that you're artists and you're humans. So
that also won't affect
or saying
your order
no to
flow.
an order.
Yeah, that also won't affect the orders that you get. So if, for example, one of my artists is like, oh, I can't accept these because whatever reason, I'm not going to say, well, sorry, you're not going to get apps anymore. Like, that's not how we operate at all. We understand that things come up.
We don't control that.
Yeah,
frankly.
we don't. We control maybe less than 5% of manual orders. So it's right. Small and situational.
And to that point, it's really important to point out, like, y'all, if you've never gone to songfinch.com and start a song, if you don't have to order one, just start a song. We're not forcing customers to take our selection. We give them the option. If they know who they want, and they go find. If they want us to recommend one for them, and like, hey, I don't want to pick, just like, they can do that. But overwhelmingly, like, every music, record they listen to or their Spotify playlist, like, they like to choose. And so, and we say it's like out of our control, like, I mean, we're just giving them the option. But if they want us to, we got you, and we're so happy to assign those orders to you manually when they do come
Yeah, 100%. And I also think just with communication in general, with taking time off, we'll probably talk about this in the next couple weeks with the roster, but around the holidays, around rush season, like we know that you have family, friends, you're traveling, you're doing all this stuff. That being said, we just want to like be able to communicate with you openly and honestly and see, okay, if you're gone for the last 2 weeks of the year, we get that. We totally understand that. If you're gone going into Valentine's Day, cool. Just let us know in advance so we could plan around you and also make a plan for when you come back to get you back in the mix or update you on anything. So I think just, having a dialogue with us and treating us as your friend. Most of the time we are friends with the people that we talk to here. So we just want to
We'll
open
even,
that
yeah.
door
Yeah,
a little wider.
exactly. We'll even do wild stuff like I'm in New Orleans, but my house is in like California. Like if you can like get a recording, like we'll mix it for you. We'll plug it in for you. Like these situations like where it gets down to the wire and there is a revision, like you're not alone. Like we'll help you. Everyone on the staff like is really like gifted at like dialing things in and can like make pretty much like anything come to life in the DAW. So like we're here to help you. So don't ever feel like just because you can't do it that it's out of the running. So we're here for you in all aspects.
I will add to. Oh, Molly, did you want to go?
No, go for it, please.
Okay. I did want to add to that we really expect our artists to use their active status or their status in general very responsibly. The reason for this is because it does lead to fulfillment issues. Let's say that you list yourself as active and you're really not. And a customer chooses you and then for some reason you deny the op or you do not see it and then it comes back into our queue and it's like, well, why did Stillman deny this? What's going on? So in that case, we have a process called needs new artists. That's when we have to reach out to the customer and let them know that you're not available. So we just want your availability to reflect the correct status, just so it won't delay anything. And also so you won't receive ops when you're clearly busy. So you just go on your dashboard and set that for yourself.
We'll also be sending, I might as well let you guys know, we'll be sending out an email or a form or something to you guys for the holiday availability, just to express because we have deadlines, we have days that we're not in operation, especially with the Christmas holiday. So we'll be requesting to know like the last date that you are available to create a song, to deliver a song.
And so, also to make revisions on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
For last minute Christmas orders.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So get ready.
We'll build a plan and communication around it and make sure that it's very straightforward and clear for everybody to answer it. But yeah, that'll be in motion in the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just moving on to the next thing. These are smaller but still very important things. Profile updates and checking in. So we kind of talked about it, but like setting up song examples, bios, pictures, if you want to kind of talk about the importance of that, and then also the Help Center articles associated with that too.
Yeah, I think setting your song examples, like we said earlier, is very, very important because it reflects your abilities and it also, you're kind of like selling yourself to the customer in a sense. They're taking a listen to what you can do for them and you want to make sure that the best part of you is put in the customer facing side. On top of that, now that we live in like a marketing world and like everything is an ad and like everyone is out for themselves to make themselves look pretty and like you just have to make sure that like your picture is like super not appealing and like oh my god they're so attractive, not like that, just like it looks professional and it's gonna jump out at a customer. We have examples of that in our help center on what a good picture looks like and what doesn't quite fit.
One quick note on that, just so y'all are aware, we put, as you all are aware, lots of money into advertising Songfinch. I'm sure you've seen the ads. So one immediate benefit you get, no matter what, ops or not, just having the Songfinch profile is SEO attention. Someone types in your name, like they're going to probably see, unless you're also advertising with a huge budget, they're probably going to see your Songfinch profile first. Just keep that in mind. Like you can use that as a way to like draw people towards your Instagram, your everything. Like even if they don't buy a song, at least they can go and see you. And if they are looking for you, that's what pops up. So keep that in mind. It's not just, you're not just buried on songfinch.com. Like we will come up for most of your search results if someone searches your name.
100%. It's never been so important as it is now to have a completed profile on Songfinch. for those purposes, but especially, yeah, for the customers finding you and for our marketing purposes. We're doing a lot of marketing. It's free marketing for you guys, honestly. And so whatever you're putting on your profile is going to be going out there into the world. So be aware of that and show off. Put your best.
There's no bragging either in your bios. Please brag away if you've done amazing things. This will let the customer connect with you more and like be wowed by what you have done. So really beef up those bios. Just because that's mainly the biggest thing that they can see aside from your picture and listening to your music. And we'll get into like the marketing stuff a little later, but it's really important to juice that up right now.
Yeah, I was gonna mention accolades, but I think we can talk about that a little down the
I mean,
line.
you can. I think we're pretty much done with the
We're at
profile section. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
can
Yeah.
do that.
So, one initiative that we've been pushing for the last 2 months, and I'm sure that a lot of you have seen emails, we've been putting a lot of ask out there for everybody, and it's not because we want to bog you down or bother you or annoy you. It's because we want to make you as successful as possible, and we want to feature you as much as possible. But we've been asking for, things like artist accolades. So what are your proudest moments, the best moments that you've had as an artist that we can actively push out to customers? And we're going to be doing some changes in the recommendation engine to feature some of those things a little bit more. And that's why it's so important that you're communicating with your artist manager to let us know what you can in terms of things that you're proud of, and also artists that you sound similar to, in your opinion. And it doesn't mean that the customer is going to get exactly that artist. It just kind of gives them a baseline to understand, like, this is a whole new overwhelming process for many customers that didn't exist out in the world before. But now maybe they can type in, oh, I want somebody that sounds like Kenny Chesney. And while that person may not sound exactly like Kenny Chesney, it gives them something to work off of. So I think that's really important, why we're like pushing these projects. It's to help you get featured more and to show up more and to be seen more. So accolades, similar sounding artist things, and then videos too. I know not everybody in the world here loves to be on video. I know that isn't my bag personally, as I'm on video. But recording videos per your artist manager ask that they put out there, that's super important because we can actively feature you and put a face to the name and humanize the connection between the customer and the artist even more. And it's just another place for you to show off your accolades or your music or something that you're really, really proud of. So if you're curious about those projects and being like, well, I haven't heard about them, or maybe I need a little bit more detail, talk to your artist manager and they can give you a full breakdown.
At this point, I think our entire roster knows about it.
Yes.
Our artist managers have emailed our artists many times, so sorry about that. So if you are like, what are they talking about, please check your inbox, and if we really haven't emailed you, please email us. And I wanted to add a note about similar sounds. There's a difference between artists that you're inspired by and artists that you actually sound like. So we're asking for artists that you vocally align with and your style aligns with that as well, just because we, like they said earlier, customers come through the customer success like chat or email, and they're like, do you guys have any artists who sound like Stevie Wonder? Like, so we would like that insight from our artists to see who they sound like.
They ask, where is Stevie Wonder? Oh, where is Adele? I don't see her on your platform.
Yeah, I don't see Frank Ocean on your site. Yeah,
but that can really help. Like if you sound like Ed Sheeran, you're like, cool, I literally sound like Ed Sheeran. We'll put that in your profile. Then when someone like types in Ed Sheeran, they're going to see you. So that's going to be a huge advantage and a time saver for y'all.
Yeah, I've been working on this project all day long, and listening to your songs and going on Spotify and being like, who do they sound like? Who do they sound like? And I think maybe Clancy said this, I don't remember, but one of our other artist managers also said, I think it was Clancy, freaking Clancy, the best. It's really like at the bottom of your Spotify, it's like, if you like this, you may also like this. Think of it like that.
For fans of is
for fans of. Yeah, think of it like that. That'll help.
Absolutely. Do we want to talk maybe about like Spotlight or some of the other projects we have going on?
Yeah, I can talk about Spotlight real quick. So basically Artist Spotlight is another marketing project, but it's based off of our email team. So every week they push an email to 1.8 million email subscribers. I will say though that this project does have its criteria, so you have to meet a certain criteria to be pitched to our team. And so we basically highlight a song that we like from you. We talk about how great you are. And also, if your artist manager has reached out to you regarding this project, we also ask that you answer some questions. The reason for this is because our email team sends an email blast to these 1.8 million subscribers. And we basically brag about you. I will say that we have had a very positive outcome from this. The artists that have already been pitched via email have seen an uptick in orders. I'm not going to say that it's a guarantee, but it's most definitely another attempt to get you out there and get your face and sound out there. So we do this every week. Right now, we are pushing the holiday stuff, so we're taking a little bit of a hiatus from that. But after the holidays are over, we're going back again.
100%. And I think it's important to note we're always trying to find new ways to market artists over social media or find creative ways that we can get them involved with customers. There's just like right now, we in this last year, we have been in mega planning and implementation mode and throwing as many cool and creative ideas at the wall just to make something stick, to make for customers to really see you guys and to really choose you guys, because we know that this is like kind of a marketplace now where you have to put your best foot forward as an artist. And we know that like social media and running your own marketing is essentially like another job, and not everybody wants to do it or relates to it. But we're trying to find creative ways that will bypass like the big in-depth version of that for you and still put you in the limelight, so to speak.
Yeah.
So,
I can share real quick the criteria since Tally asked about it.
Yeah.
I want to be nothing but transparent about this. So basically, you have to have killer production and vocal quality. We don't want to pitch.
And what that means is like if you like, I sound like J Balvin. If I go to Spotify and pull up J Balvin, your track production wise, voice wise, sounds like J Balvin. So
Yes.
just to be clear, like what we mean by killer production, it should sound like someone who you think sounds killer.
Exactly, yeah. You also have to be active at the time that we submit you for it. That's just because if a customer sees you in the email and then they're like, cool, I want Tally as my artist, and you're not active, it's like womp womp, We also ask that you have a capacity of 5 or higher. That's just for the same reason, song or order volume that you may get from those emails. You have to be verified. No late submissions for at least 4 months. You have to be in good communication with us. You also have to have a good understanding of the worry-free guarantee policy and be aligned with it. We are also looking every day for a variety of genres, so we're not just focusing on like country artists all the time. And we also would like for you to have like at least a big accolade or a cool accolade. That's just for marketing purposes. So if you guys have any questions about that as well, you can always email your artist manager.
Yeah, I think just to kind of keep things flowing, we can move to the next topic. Let's talk about just like what the situation is with accepting and denying ops. So I know that like a large multitude of different types of ops come in. When is the appropriate time to deny them? And I mean, I think we all recommend that you need to actively look at every single op before taking it.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
That's I see the most comms about an op when the artist has accepted it and then, oh, I didn't read it until the day that it's due when I'm trying to complete it in a hurry, and actually they just provided everything in a link, or this doesn't seem appropriate, or it's pre-written lyrics, so we have to explain the whole policy, and that could end up meaning that the song isn't delivered by their very in the timely manner for their event. So I think that's the main thing is please review the brief, read the brief before you accept it. That way, before we even get it in motion, we can reach out to the customer if there's an issue. We can solve a pronunciation or communication miscommunication before it happens. We can prevent revisions this way. We can prevent a lot of issues. So
we can prevent delays, and we can also get you paid faster.
Yes.
Another thing I wanted to say is that I know to keep it 100, I know that when you get that op email, you're like, yes. So you immediately like accept because you don't want to lose it. Maybe that's not the case for all artists, but I know that that's probably like you're so excited to write the song, and like with the dip in ops, you're kind of like, let me get on this, and then when you're getting to writing it, maybe in a few days, you're like, oh damn, I should have reached out about this. So that's why it's really important to check it before you accept. It's kind of like if you're going to be in a contract for something, you're not just going to sign something blindly. You have to read through it, and then you have to ask the questions that are necessary so we can get you clarification on that. And in addition, since we recently launched Spanish, I did want to make it clear that if you do receive a Spanish op and you haven't been cleared by our team to write in Spanish, please don't attempt to write the entire song in Spanish. I would say it's okay to add like a phrase if the customer is like, can you please say like te amo mi amor, and you feel confident in like singing that, then that's totally good. I don't have an issue with that, but I would say if a customer is like, please write this fully in Spanish, and you are not fluent or have not been cleared, please don't do it and flag it to your artist manager for that.
Yeah, I think just jumping off that point, like, Spanish is a new kind of iteration in what we're doing and requires a lot of finesse. There's a lot of different cultures, a lot of different sounds that go into it. So beyond just the lyric writing of just saying something, there's just so much more we have to consider. And then also corporate ops too. There's a whole different department that runs corporate ops and sync. So we have to look at those ops with a magnifying glass and be like, okay, what does this customer really want? And do they want to set up a separate licensing deal? And the sooner we catch that and hopefully can put it into fruition, sooner you get paid out on a completely different thing. So yeah, it's just being mindful. At the end of the day, it's knowing what you're doing and why you're doing it before you accept it. And I think everybody here is super positioned and able to do that.
Right. I want to say too, if for some reason that this happens, you get eager and you take the op, and then it's like, timely, you hit us up, actually, I can't take it. We will replace that op. We will go dig and find you an order. You will get priority on the next order that's not claimed. Like, you will be right there 7 days a week. There's someone in the messages, like making sure that artists who get ops moved around or they get like changed, that you get a replacement op is what we call it. So, so we're not just gonna like, oh, took it, like, see you later, get, better luck next time. Like, we're ready. Like, as soon as there's one that matches you, it could be in 2 minutes, it could be in 2 days, but like, the next order that comes through matches you is going to be yours.
Yeah, and I actually think that's a really good transition into ARE and manual assignments and talking about like what we're doing with the artist recommendation engine, ARE. So obviously it's almost been a year. It'll be December of last year is when we, Songfinch time is a little strange, so it's hard to tell. But we obviously switched gears, and we had to, just because of internal fulfillment purposes. Like, we needed to make sure that everything was manageable, and also we found that customers resonated more with the songs that they were getting beyond anything else. Like, we all think as artist managers or music supervisors, we have amazing taste, and I've said this on many calls before, but like, music is subjective. There are things that I think that customer, what was her name from earlier? The customer, Brenda. That Brenda would love. There are things that I personally think that Brenda would love, and I can have an artist write an amazing, breathtaking, beautiful song for Brenda, and Brenda's like, I don't like it. So I think that this empowers the customer to have more connection with the song that they're getting, and obviously that subjectivity. And so that's why this marketplace does work out. That being said, it has shifted like what we can control as artist managers in terms of assignments. So as I mentioned before, I think it's like less than 5% of songs or less than 10% of songs we're manually assigning, and most of those are like NNAs, so songs that we have to reset in the system, or denials, and we're constantly in communication with the customer experience team as well, making sure that the customer is still getting what they want, even if it's manual. So it's important to know that we're not hiding ops from you. We're not
Nope.
taking away if you're
There's no
not
pile. There's no pile. There's no pile. Like
there's no pile. And I think at the end of the day, there's a realization that, you know, if you're not successful, like we're not successful as well. If you're not getting a ton of ops, and where are my ops? I don't understand. It's like, yo, we want you to have those ops too. You know, this is our livelihood as well. But beyond that, we want you to know that, like, we feel that with you. It isn't something that we're just like cohorting or, you know, keeping for ourselves. It's like we actively feel when things are low. We get the messages. We know the stories from every single artist on this roster. We feel your pain. And while we're not in your shared or lived experience, we know that, like, we're very grateful for things like rush season and the holiday, because it's like, okay, the opportunity for people to be happier and to actually get paid and make money, that goes up. So we know that it's a roller coaster, just to sum it up, but we're on the ride with you. And it's important to know that we're trying to help you succeed as much as possible.
And to be a little more transparent as well, it just manually assigning 100% of the orders just was not sustainable for the business. We had to spend almost the entire day doing that, and so that kind of took away from actually developing and working with our artists and like getting them involved in like marketing projects. So it's something that needed to happen to keep the ship moving forward. And I feel like a lot of artists who previously were not getting a lot of ops now are seeing and being shown in a fair way. So it's just like, it was a change that needed to happen.
It's also
sorry. I love this topic because it was such a big shift, because a lot of this can seem like, oh, an algorithm's picking and it's not fair. The reality is, Mel just pointed out, like, it was so unfair before. The way we were doing is so biased. Like, if music supervisor number 1 was in there on Monday and all these orders came through and they're like, I know this artist and it's a country order, guess who's getting those first 15 and then on the next. But like, then Tuesday comes and the next person doesn't know that artist, they're not getting that. So it's not by anyone's like harm or anyone trying to, like, you know, be like, you know, pick favorites. Just like, if there's 1,000 orders in the hopper, which is still what's happening, you know, when we're busy and we need to assign them all, we're just gonna be like, oh, 15 to Stillman, 15 to Tally, 15 to this person. And it's like, that's not thoughtful assignment for the customers and things like that. So it created a huge amount of just bias and unfairness for y'all as artists. When my dog is joining me for this journey. She's a sweet French bulldog. You guys want to see her real quick? This is worth it. I
want to see.
This is why I do it. So I don't even.
Hi.
No,
French bulldog distraction.
You were talking about like how like the disbursement before wasn't really equal, and like this really levels the playing field for all artists and actively helps support everybody in the community a little bit more. They get a fair chance.
It creates community as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's creating an opportunity for connection and a growing fan base for you guys, which I really love. Like, we see repeat orders. This has made this exponentially better. The dog, thank you so much. But yeah, we see repeat customers. They fall in love with you. They follow along with you. They will message you on Instagram because you made them cry in a good way. Happy tears. So it's a beautiful way for you to grow your community as well. Yeah.
1000%. And the last thing that I think I'll mention about the ARE in general is that we're constantly retooling it, and we're constantly finding new ways to make it better or more innovative. We're trying to get like these new cards that will actively feature your accolades and offer, you know, people more in line with what they want, and allowing that to connect to you better as an artist. So I think that we're going to keep on retooling it. We're going to get it to the best place that we can. And hopefully in 2024, we're going to see some beautiful things out of the engine. So very, very excited. Also, one last thing. any feedback or suggestions you have for the artist recommendation engine. While we think we know what is best and the approach that we're doing we feel like is the most ethical, we're still open to suggestions. We're still open to hearing your thoughts at the very least, because there are many things that we come across from artists, from customers, from people internally in the company that were like, huh, we never thought of it that way. Like, just let your artist manager know, communicate with them. There are so many ideas to share, and we're in a beautiful place to share and build upon
Right.
ideas.
Even if it feels like it just works for you, like if like Callie's like, oh, I got this thing I do with like cassette tapes and like going on like TikTok and it like does this. If we can help you do that to get more orders, like let us know. If there's something, if there's some magic trick that maybe it's not going to work for the whole roster, but it works for you, like tell us so we can like deploy that with you and help you. Like we're totally down to do one-off solutions that help you, because you do have artist managers. That's what they're here for, is to work with you to come with the stuff. And definitely, if you know or have insight on how to sell original music or know how to convince people to do it, we are always open to knowing how to do that and want to know how to move forward with this together. We really do consider all ideas and elevate a lot of them.
Definitely. I
Yeah,
think
we're
we've
a
talked.
startup, you guys. Nothing is.
Yeah, we are.
They're constantly evolving. Like, just look at how much has changed in the last calendar year. Almost everything. Almost everything.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's not slowing down anytime soon at all. And I think we've talked a lot about like quick turnarounds and rush and everything like that. So this is probably a good place to talk about what's next in terms of like innovation and product and like where we're going as a company. I'm going to do this as discreetly without giving away too much information, but some of you may have heard about our STEM project, or our like hybrid AI human STEM project that we've been doing. We just did a first round a couple months ago, and we're hoping to use this as a new offering for customers, and to really allow maybe a less personalized but still intimate approach to what we're doing for people who can't afford like a $200 song, and still find ways to pay out artists and give them royalties and like make money on the back end while they're still making custom songs. They can do this other offering as well and be successful to get like a residual revenue stream. So there is a new innovation team at Songfinch. Some of you may have had them as artist managers. It's Dylan and Dan. Brian's partly on that as well, and then I'm on that as well. So we're looking to try and figure out as many ways possible to make these new initiatives as smooth as possible. And it's important to note, and I think Brad can attest to this as well, that whenever we talk about AI, we know that there is like that tense moment for artists, because it's scary. Like, are we going to be replaced by robots, or what does AI mean? Even like, what level of that? What's involved there? I think that we're approaching everything as ethically as possible. It's a beautiful thing, because like we're never going to use AI without your consent as an artist. We're never going to like appropriate anything that was not discussed, or like core songs or whatever it is. This is a new opportunity to create a whole new revenue stream and product, but fully with your permission, and like everything is under a microscope with how ethically we're approaching it. We request and admire a lot of feedback from the artists that we're working with on all these projects as well. If there's anything that makes you uncomfortable, if there's anything that makes you feel like, I don't know about this, like talk to us. We want to have a conversation.
Right. AI in general, like, I got lucky when I first like got into like engineering, like producing records. My first boss was an old tape guy, but he was adapting Pro Tools right away. And like, I got lucky to be like, I was a Pro Tools guy. And so like, that was a huge shift. The whole industry was terrified. Music's over. Like Napster's going to kill it. And like, that's not what happened. Actually, music revenue is higher this year than it's ever been before. So we're another technology shift. And so for us, we want to help artists be on the cutting edge of that, and to like be owners and controllers of that technology, not, for lack of a better word, like victims. And I know a lot of the industry is trying to paint this idea of like, oh, we're just going to copy your voice and go do this. Like, we will never do that. We have built this entire brand and company on being artist friendly and putting artists first. We're not going to nuke that just because we like want to try to make a quick buck. So that's not going to be the case. It's just going to be another way for us to step into the future with y'all and equip you with things that'll be helpful, not just to your Songfinch songs, but to your career as a whole. So if you're ever worried, again, I just want to reiterate this, like, please let us know. You can hit brad@songfinch.com. I will get on the phone with you and talk you through it. You can talk to Greg, Mel, Molly, Jake Tuden, Rob Lindquist, anybody at the company. Like, we are all here for you to talk to you about it, reassure you. We're not going to pull a fast one on you. It's not going to be any weird, funny business. Hang my hat on that, Brad Dollar. We're not going to do any weird shit with AI to you guys. We're just going to help you with it.
And we all come from music too. I mean, kind of like Molly said, a lot of us are musicians, a lot of us are producers or just audiophiles. Like, we understand that this is not an easy leap for everybody to make, but we want to do it in the right way. So with some of these new initiatives, which there are many more coming out in the next coming year, I'll leave a little bit of mystery, but there's some really cool stuff in the mix. If you do have interest in AI or maybe exploring some of these projects, hit up your artist managers. Let us know. We have an active list of artists that we're working with for like certain iterations of STEM and what's to come. But we're always considering new people to get into the mix and also retooling older iterations. So seeing what worked, what didn't work, how do we make this even easier for artists? How do we, instruct or inform them in a better way? So there's a lot of that, and we have some really, really amazing minds on all these projects, especially shout out to our director of machine learning, Alex Duda. You are amazing and also half robot in the best way possible. We love you. You're
real quick, I just want to say thank you to the artists as well. Whether you're in it with us or you're scared, like, thank you for being here and embracing it and not just running from it. Thank you for not deleting your Spotify because you're scared. Even if you're like, fuck AI, I'm gonna go do this other thing. Awesome. Thank you for being active and like establishing what music means to you and what you want to do with it. So thank you for riding with us through this change and being willing to give it a shot. It says a lot about your craft and your career and how you see yourself. So just no one else is giving you like a pat on the back for like dealing with this, and so we just want to say thank you for dealing with AI as a whole from the industry in general, because it is a little crazy.
It's messy. It's a pirate ship.
But I also want to make sure we mention that this isn't going to eliminate our need for our core product. And if anything,
correct,
because of this shift, it could actually greatly increase the value of a personalized custom song that is crafted fully by an independent artist. So your value will never be devalued here, ever.
Beautifully put. Mel, I know that you touched on a little bit about Spanish and the things that you're excited about. Is there anything maybe like musically or talking to artists on this call about like how they can get their friends involved if they know anybody that speaks Spanish? Anything that you want to put out there regarding Spanish that would be cool?
Yeah, for sure. I know Greg mentioned earlier that a lot of us are musicians. Fun fact, I am not, but I come from a long line of them from my dad's side. And so I feel like me not being a musician, instead of being intimidated by that, I think it actually has helped me appreciate music a lot, and more specifically Spanish music. So I've been wanting to like integrate this into the company since I started. I was like, Spanish music is not just Spanish music. It's very, very much a part of our culture. It's similar to like food and everything. So I have been kind of working on it on and off these past 2 years, but as soon as I came back from maternity leave, I was like, Rob, we need to talk. So it's been go time ever since. And so I would say, Brad, like 2 weeks ago we launched it, and it's already been incredible. It makes me really, really happy to put our Spanish roster's talents out there to the world, and for customers to be blown away by the lyrics, the music, the instrumentals. Obviously, Spanish is not a genre, it's a language, but just for this specific purpose, we are catering to bilingual customers right now. And so if you were listed as a Spanish artist, your song example and your style is what your subgenre is and what you're going to be offering to customers, all with the lyrics in Spanish. So that's basically the gist of it. I am in the process with the rest of my artist management team in recruiting Spanish artists or Spanish speaking artists, Latinx artists, whatever. have them come to me, come to your artist manager. If you know a person or if you yourself want to audition, please do. We are going full speed with this because we've already seen like a lot of orders and we haven't even advertised it like that or paid for advertising, which only speaks on how high the demand is. And it's a project that I will always hold close to my heart because I just know the value that it brings and how beautiful Spanish music sounds. Rob put it in a good way. He's like, I don't even understand the lyrics and it sounds beautiful. Like everyone knows that. And it's just such a popular, like, like language and like everything in the United States and across the world. So I'm really, really happy that it's finally here. So if you have any questions about it, just hit me up or your artist manager and they'll get you in touch with me.
Amazing. I'm super excited. There's so much we can do there, and so much it's so culturally ingrained that bringing Spanish across the world is going to be a beautiful thing. I love that. I think we could talk about like how, and everybody here can feel this very well, about how we've done a lot of work this year to kind of like get out of our little silos as a company and really join together with like other departments. We have some amazing new leadership involved too. It's just been a really, really cool experience internally for the last year because we've worked with the marketing department. We've worked with the product department. We've worked with customer experience more, even operationally between artist management and customer experience. We've worked with dev. Like we're really trying to eliminate the barriers between us as departments internally, so we can all better understand the product and what's needed from the artist and the customers. If you have any thoughts on like how that's been a cool experience for you, maybe. Yeah, anybody, if you want to jump in. I know you do, Molly.
Who, me?
Who, you?
We love to talk. Yeah, I've loved it. I mean, it's been the most helpful with all of these policy shifts, getting to work more closely with our team members. It makes everything more efficient. Hi, TJ. And it makes the product better. It makes the entire process better, and our jobs easier. And yeah, I don't know.
I think one thing that comes to mind is like internally, we're having some new hires come on, and like moving forward, we're going to have them shadow in different departments. So like somebody in marketing or somebody in dev can like actively know like how does customer experience work? What are all the things that go into that to make it work, to make it so smooth, and like how does that translate to artist management and artist services? And like I think where we succeed as a company is like we're constantly trying to get new perspectives and like teach everybody new perspectives as well, so they can be better for like what the overall mission and goal is for our company. I mean, it's beyond words. It's about bringing this beautiful, special moment that can't be encapsulated to customers, but also like letting artists succeed and try new things and flourish and grow, and kind of being this hero in this middle class of musicians that has never existed before. So I think it's like the whole point of me saying this is like we want everybody. We want to know what everybody's doing and how it kind of feeds into the greater goal, into the greater fire of helping you guys succeed and helping customers really get what they want. You know what I mean?
I always like to make dancing analogies. We're all doing a dance at this company, and the choreography needs to be on point. We're all doing different things, but at the end of the day, when you zoom out, we all look beautiful. We all look like we rehearsed and everything, and that includes the artist community. So we all have to be like communicative and picking each other's brains and like doing all that because we're all on the same mission, and that is to support the artist community and really like I don't know, we love you guys. Like I could like cry about it. Like we all love you guys, and so we do it for you, and we do it just because we all love music. So I think that the change in leadership and just like leadership in general has been great. I have never been more a part of like marketing meetings in my life. I think it's really interesting to pick their brains too, because like their brain works completely different than like the music side or like the customer success side. So I think it's been incredible to get new and fresh minds into this. And that's essentially the only constant, as Rob likes to say, is change. And I think that's the thing that keeps us pushing forward. So it's really exciting.
You know, like Albert Einstein said, if you guys didn't know, I was Albert Einstein for Halloween.
She's just next to me. It was Albert next to me all day.
I won the contest. Not to brag, but if you want to see a video, go to my TikTok. I forget what I was gonna say. Albert Einstein once said, "Life is like riding a bike. You have to move forward." And that is, oh, Tally, I will send you a photo. Einstein will be coming out. We'll be making more appearances this year. It is not my new go-to costume. If you might see Einstein driving around Chicago just for fun. It's a great, I really enjoy it. Should I stop? Are you guys telling me to stop in the private chat? Okay, I'm sorry, everyone.
No, I was just going to say I have a meeting in 2 minutes. So I just wanted to express my love to all of you. Again, I'm really, really happy to have an incredible and talented team along my side. Molly is amazing. We all know that. Shout out Clancy in Vermont. I love you, Brian in Nashville. Matthew, you're my dude. And then Megan, you're iconic. And Greg, thank you. And Brad, thank you for everything. And thank you, artists, for doing everything you possibly can to bear with us and also to just like join the fun and see what everything's about. This is my way of saying goodbye and that I love you all and that I'm here for you in any way possible. This was fun. I hope this was helpful for everybody.
Yeah, thank you for taking all of these changes in stride and being game for this journey, because we're all really excited for the future.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
I know, Mel, that you have to head out. Bye, Mel. I'm just gonna remove you now. Okay, cool. I think that we can. Well, first of all, do you want to say what the quote was, Molly?
I said it. Did you miss it?
She wasn't joking. It's about riding the bike. And
if you ride a bicycle, you gotta keep moving forward.
There it is. So one last thing we wanted to do. We can make this quick. We can make this long. Whatever we need to do. Just any questions that you guys have. I wanted to do a little Q&A. I think TJ, you said something. I know it isn't something y'all have made us do, but should we mention that we're Songfinch artists in our social media bios?
It can't hurt, my dude. It cannot hurt.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's not a requirement because it's a personal thing. And I think that different artists have different goals, like online, whether it's like to promote their band or to make it like a normal, like this is about me Instagram bio. But we've had plenty of artists in the past actively put like taking songs or like making custom songs with Songfinch and or like just as a point of pride, like putting that they work with Songfinch or that they love Songfinch. I always recommend doing it because it's just another way to potentially get an order for somebody that might go to your page, especially if it's a music page. But like, obviously we would never make you do that, but I really love the thought. Thank you. Great question. And yeah, knock it out. Go do it.
It works.
The other way around though, if you are not operating under a pseudonym on Songfinch, having your Instagram or any social there is really helpful because customers, like, they already, like, even 2 years ago, they're like, this is all AI. They're like, not real. Like, they don't think you're real or we're real. So if they can click on like an IG profile and it's like, oh, that's Stillman. Okay, that's a real person. They feel just so much more confident about it. So if you don't do the feature us on your profile, at least like put your profile on Songfinch because it will help.
Yeah, make sure those links are up to date, my peeps, please. I click on those so often and they lead me to an error page. So check your links because it can lead to opportunities. It can lead to more orders. So
100%. Anybody else have any burning questions, thoughts, queries, quandaries, anything that comes to mind?
Yeah. Always let us know.
We got.
All right.
One from Tally. There you go.
In regard to Sync, I got an offer a while back to be a part of that, but I don't have a huge catalog of instrumentals. Can we use the instrumentals we make for our customer songs to submit for this? Yeah. I mean, they're your songs, so I absolutely do think. I mean, we're pushing an initiative to like, promote that kind of thing with artists, I think that it's a great way. This kind of goes back to the conversation of like, if you're making new instrumentals every once in a while to keep things fresh, this is just added ammunition to really help you succeed in another place. So yeah, I think that's an awesome idea. And then you can kind of experiment and just keep on adding more little instrumentals that you use from Songfinch. That would be super cool.
Yeah, I think that's the best muscle to flex if you're trying to get into the sync world, is creating an instrumental from scratch in a quick turnaround. So if you're trying to get into that, make a few new instrumentals, see how quick you can do it, make it sound good. It's a really good tool to have.
Also,
make alternate mixes, like just do it anyways. I should charge this guy a referral fee. Mike Elsner, he's a great human. He has this thing called mastermusiclicensing.com. He's got a free PDF that's all about how to get your stuff actually placed, not just like, oh, I've submitted to Taxi, like how to actually get your song in a show and how to go about that. It's a really great guide. It is extremely helpful and extremely accurate. It also applies to stuff we're doing in sync and stuff you're doing in your own life. So I just want to throw that out there as like a resource. This world is like a little like, how do you get licensing? What are the deals? Like mastermusiclicensing.com, Mike Elsner, that PDF is so worth the price of free for what it contains. So highly recommend.
Thank you. Wouldn't that be nice? Cool. Any other questions, thoughts? If not, you know where to hit us.
You know where to hit us.
Okay, cool. I think we should wrap it up. So
cool.
I just want to thank
you all. Appreciate you.
Thank everybody for joining us. This has been super fun, very informative on our end too, with your comments and thoughts. And we hope that you take something from this. And we are all literally available whenever you want to talk. We love you very much, and we believe in you guys. So keep on keeping on.
All in it together.
All right.
Bye. See you guys later. Appreciate you.
Bye.